time for Cumberland University Bulldog Baseball. Bulldog Baseball is brought to you by Enterprise Rent-A-Car, the Music City Star, Southeast Impressions, Signs Now, THW Insurance, Coca-Cola, Jersey Mike's, Petty Orthopedics, Family Medical, Chick-fil-A, and Cumberland University. And now, here's the voice of Bulldog Baseball, Mitch Walters.
Well, Cumberland University Athletics, Billy Goodman back at the station, JoJo Freeman, Daniel Kernan, Mitch Walters would like to welcome everybody to the corner of Spring and Carver for today's ball game between the Eagles of Embry-Riddle University and your Cumberland University Bulldogs. These two ball clubs played yesterday, and Cumberland came away with a 4-0 victory. Stevie Smith, junior out of Murfreesboro, Tennessee, through 9 innings, gave up 6 hits, did not allow a run, walked 1, struck out 4 through 132 pitches, and threw a gem, to be exact, folks. In the ball game, Clayton Wagner took the loss for Embry-Riddle. He went 6 innings, gave up 7 hits, 4 runs. They're all earned. Walked 6, struck out 3. The Bulldogs had 8 hits to go along with their 4 runs, committed 1 error. Embry-Riddle had 6 hits to go with their no runs, and they committed no errors. All-time series, folks. Embry-Riddle has 10 wins in the all-time series. Bulldogs have 8. However, in the NAI of Vista World Series, the Bulldogs are 3-0 versus the Eagles of Embry-Riddle, who are coached by former Bulldog All-American shortstop Randy Stiegel, assisted by his brother Chuck, former Bulldog first baseman and outfielder. Folks, Danny Kern's going to be with us today, former Bulldog right-hander. One of the auction items this year at the dinner and auction was to be able to broadcast on one of our radio broadcasts, and Danny came up with the change. And Kern Dog, good to have you with us.
Good to be here. Real happy to be able to win that auction and grace my presence up here in the press box.
Go slow, Kern Dog.
All
Go
right.
slow here. Back at the station, Billy. We'll take a 1-minute break, and then we'll be back with an interview with Embry-Riddle head coach and former Bulldog All-American shortstop, Randy Stiegel.
Enterprise Rent-A-Car is the company with a wrapped car, which means you get the best rental package around. With weekend specials available, Enterprise is the perfect choice for that trip to the ball game or that getaway with a family. Not only will they set you up with a great rental vehicle at a great price, but they'll also make life easier by picking you up. Before you get away, get on the phone and call Enterprise Rent-A-Car at 1-800-RENT-A-CAR. Enterprise Rent-A-Car on the bypass in Lebanon.
Serving Wilson County since 2006, the Music City Star is Middle Tennessee's only passenger rail service. With stops in Lebanon, Martha, and now Juliet, the Music City Star can get you to work in the mornings and home in the afternoons without the stress. The train also has an evening trip on Fridays for those who want to enjoy downtown Nashville's restaurants and entertainment venues. For ticket and schedule information, visit musiccitystar.org or call 862-5950. The Music City Star. There is no traffic on the train.
One of the outstanding players we ever had at Cumberland, Randy Stiegel, is now the head coach at Embry-Riddle in Florida. Randy, you guys have had a really good run there, and the program is rocking and rolling.
Yeah, well, we were fortunate. It was already rock and rolling before we got there, so we kind of just, like I'd say, take the baton and run with it. Fortunately, the previous coaches left it in good shape. We had some good key players that got us through the first year. I got the job late, so it was kind of tough to get recruits in, but had a couple key guys that were kind of holdovers from the other group, and use a lot of the stuff that Coach Hunt does here, try to, very similar in the way we do things and the way we approach the game. So it's a successful formula. It's worked for him for quite a long time, so I figured why not try to incorporate that formula into my career. So, and it's worked so far, except we haven't won a national championship. That's the only difference between the two programs right now.
There was a stop as a head coach before you got to Embry-Riddle, right?
Yeah, I was at Indiana Tech, and I look back at those years, those 2 years in Indiana Tech, those were great years, and very fond memories of the players that I had there. It's a different type type of player from up there. They're kind of blue-collar, factory worker-type kids. You can kind of say anything you want to them. You can get in their face, and they take that and kind of challenge them, and they find ways to do it for you. And these guys down in Florida sometimes are a little, I would say a little bit more ego, because I'm a Florida guy, but sometimes they've been playing these travel balls, and everybody's telling them how good they are. They feel like they're entitled to a lot of things. So it's a different type of player, but I use some of those things up in Indiana Tech. Really, the mentality that I took from here up in Indiana Tech worked immediately. And that program was going in a different direction, so it was a little easier for me to kind of put my foot down and say, hey, either you do it this way or you leave. So it was a good 2 years up there. Got me into coaching, so I'm really fortunate to be up there.
I haven't taken a good look at your roster. I would assume mainly Florida guys, right?
Yeah, Florida guys, a couple guys. We have one kid from Kentucky, a couple guys from California, have a kid from British Columbia, Canada, but most of our rosters from Florida. Yeah, you don't have to go too far to find good players down there, it's just we have such a unique academic environment down there that it makes it difficult sometimes for kids to buy into our academic environment. They come down, look at the facilities, look at the tradition and things, and that's a no-brainer. But just getting it sometimes, like Matt Greener, a guy who played here, we recruited him hard, and I'm not saying that we would have got him, but I think he was scared of the academic environment. I called Coach Hunt. I said, listen, you want to get on this kid, and he knew about him, but he hadn't really been serious about him. I told him, I said, you got to go get this guy, because he's going to come here, and I don't want him to go to Lee, so come down here and get him. And so that's the type of kid that we miss out on a lot of times, but fortunately, we do get a good student, so we don't have to worry about that too much.
Talk about that academic environment, the major programs, that sort of thing.
We're #1 aviation school in the world, so anything aerospace, 1 in every 3 commercial airline pilots is a graduate of our school. We're a military-based university. We're not a government institution, but we're as closely affiliated to a government institution as you can be without being one. A lot of armed services use our facilities for flight training and different things like that. So we do have other majors, business, communications. We have a Homeland Security degree. This is like criminal justice. We don't have the social sciences like here. We have history, liberal arts, and things like that. So it makes it difficult sometimes. So most of our guys on our team are business majors, communication, or Homeland Security. We have a couple engineering students. We don't do pilots anymore because it costs more money and it takes a lot of time out away from baseball. And it's very hard for the schedules to line up, which is crazy because people think that you have a whole team of pilots, and we don't have one that's a pilot on our team. So we used to have a couple scattered around, but now it's just mainly the business, communications, and Homeland Security.
That has got to be the most unique academic situation that I've heard of, but that's a thing that you can turn in your favor to find a kid who is interested in those areas. Bang, you got a great opportunity for him to come play at a high level of baseball.
Yeah, we have a kid, a sophomore of ours, Corey Tufts. He's from Claremont, Florida, which is Orlando. He had an offer to the University of Central Florida, but he wanted to do aerospace engineering. We're the #1 aviation school in the world, and we're #1 in aerospace engineering. He was dead set on doing that, so he wanted to come to Amarillo, so it was like a no-brainer. And he's a draftable guy. He's a Division I pitcher. He's not there yet. He's still got some growing to do, but his arm is there. So you do get those kind of guys that are scattered in and out, but you also get the other end of it where you get that high academic guy who thinks we're a club team. So we do get a lot of those. But, we make it work, and it is. It's a nice niche. If you can find 10 players that just want to come to school there for the engineering or the aerospace part of it, and they're good players, they'll come here over Division I programs just because of the academic part of it.
And Daytona Beach has got to be a pretty neat place to recruit to.
Right. We're 80% male students at our school, and a lot of kids will walk on campus, and they'll be like, well, where are the girls at? So, well, if that's your first priority, we don't want you here anyway, kind of joking around with them. But, yeah, it's Daytona Beach, so there's a lot to do. You're 80 miles from Jacksonville, you're 40 miles from Orlando, you're 3 hours from Miami, and Florida is just great all year round, especially in the winter. So that's a big draw, not having to worry about this type of weather. We've gone a whole season without pulling our tarp before, and if you can imagine trying to do it up here, that's like, there's no way. I mean, you're pulling your tarp once or twice a week, it seems like, up here. So that's a big advantage, too, location, and that's what we kind of sell our guys on, because I've gone up against Coach Hunt with a couple of guys, and I said, listen, I played there, I coached there, it's a great program. If you go there for baseball, you're going to be happy both places Embry-Riddle and Cumberland. But here's what we can offer you: academics and weather. and sometimes that works, sometimes I end up here, and I'm not knocking the program. Sometimes I would never knock this program, but I use the location. You got to try to find a way to separate it, and that's a big one, is trying to get, kids that want to play in a warm environment.
Randy, Cumberland was a great place at a great time for you, looking for a place to kind of make a change in your career.
Yeah, I had some struggles. I was probably not ready to. I played University of South Carolina for 2 years. I probably wasn't ready for that environment. I wanted to go out of state, get out of my own, and kind of spread my wings a little bit, but I wasn't really ready for that. All the outside things. It wasn't that I was a big party or anything. It's just I didn't have the discipline class-wise in that kind of environment, and I got behind a little bit. And Steve Crane, who a Cincinnati Red Scout, told Coach Hunt about me, and then he saw a kid at South Carolina that was sitting out because I went home my junior year. I had mono, and so I was redshirted. And Coach Hunt, I like to laugh at about now, but I eventually signed here because he wouldn't leave me alone. He just kept calling me and calling me and calling me and calling me. And my brother and my mom came up here for a visit because I was working, and they said, it's great, you'll love it. It's Tennessee. It's like South Carolina, but hills. And I loved South Carolina, and she said the facility was great. And Coach Hunt was a respectable man, and kind of like my dad, and a hard worker, and a blue-collar mentality. And so I came up here, and it was like any other kid that comes up here for the first time. I didn't really understand what the vibe was until I think it was Moises Mandelbaum. I said, what's the deal with Coach Hunt? And he said, well, where the old hitting facility here, there's a big oak tree right there. And he goes, we were hitting in the cages right there. And he goes, see that tree over there? Coach Hunt came in and told me, he said, sprint as hard as you can and run into that tree. I would, because I trust him that much, because if something good was going to happen. So at that point, I kind of said, okay, my way hadn't been working, so I'm going to try his way. And his way was really what my dad was telling me, but it was coming from a different source. And I was raised by two great parents, and the way I was acting at South Carolina was not indicative of how I was raised. And this place kind of put me back in place, so I'm happy about that.
And if I remember right, you were a second baseman at South Carolina. You wanted an opportunity to play short because shortstops get drafted before second baseman. You came here, and that really worked out for you.
Yeah, Coach I was fortunate because I think Jason Franklin was here the year before, and he got drafted. He was a shortstop, so if he wouldn't have got drafted, it probably would have been me and him, and then Angel Hermoso was back at second base, so I might end up at third, because I remember in '98 we didn't really have a third baseman, and fortunately he left, and I didn't really care, because what I had always heard is if you hit, you're going to get drafted. So I didn't really care about position-wise. I was actually very comfortable at either spot, short or at South Carolina. I played third and second. A lot of second my sophomore year, a lot of third my freshman year. I never played third in my life, so it was very uncomfortable for me. But yeah, to get back at shortstop where I've played my entire life, most of my life, it was a nice opportunity for me. And then to come out here and start hitting right away and having a good season right off the bat kind of relaxed me, and I wasn't worried about pro ball or anything like that. Everybody always telling me, that you're going to go and you're going to do this, and all the scouts were telling me this and this and this, and I just played because I was just listening to Coach Hunt, and he kept me focused on the season and not worried about the extra stuff.
That's a pretty good baseball team you played on it here.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I tell our guys about it all the time, this team and every other team, and I tell, it's a mentality. Hitting is a mentality, and having a mentality. And I actually played against two of my friends in high school, and I didn't really know this until we were done, but he said we intimidated teams by the way we took batting practice. And, back then it was old air attacks, -5s, and, you could just, it's like swinging through air, but you still got to hit the ball. There's still pitchers pitch, and you still got to hit. Yeah, you get a little bit more give, but he used to say that when we rolled up, the other teams just get intimidated by the way we take batting practice. I tell our guys, I said, you want to set a tone, you have a good batting practice. A lot of times that doesn't equate now, but it was a lot of fun scoring. I think we averaged like 11 runs a game, and we had the worst pitching staff in the history of this program, Cumberland's program, since Coach Hunt's been here. If we'd had any arms at all, I really think we could have made a run at the World Series. We just ran out of steam, but I enjoyed every second I played here. It was an unbelievable time. I wish I would have had another year to play.
Randy, congratulations on the success you've had coaching Indiana Tech and at Embry-Riddle. Best of luck the rest of your time. I know you guys are off to a great start, ranked third in the NAIA. Great talking to you, and thanks for your staying close to Cumberland.
Yeah, it's not hard to do, man. I love this place, and that's why we come up here every couple of years, because it's nice coming back home, and this is what we call home. It's funny because I played 2 years at South Carolina, 1 year here, and I call this my home, and you can play in the SEC, and it's unbelievable. Playing here is something special, and something grabs at you, and I know the common denominator is Coach Hunt, but it's the people and guys like you and Coach Walters, and seeing the same familiar faces around here. It's always fun to come.